Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron IV, playing as the United States. Yes, okay. How you all doing? Hopefully well. It'll be, well, a few days from when I record this. So it's up because I have a couple of more episodes still ready to go before I get this one up. But, talk about the cause du jour at the time of recording this, of mostly yesterday, was the announcement of just one of the features in the next expansion for Hearts of Iron, and that was a button on the battle planner that was for what they were calling a blitzkrieg function, in which would keep units from spreading out. Their example was pushing from East Prussia and pushing from Germany and creating a corridor here through Poland that they showed, and that was going to be part of the paid-for expansion. And then they had a really cool new garrison function, partly so you can draw a line along the coast and then just garrison the ports, or if it's an internal thing, to go to the hot spots for resistance flare-ups or whatever. And that was going to be free. And that just blew up on the forum. Now, let me say a couple of things. One, I think I've gotten more negative disagrees from my posting there than all of my agrees combined, but definitely more than all of my disagrees combined everywhere before. And maybe a few of you viewers out there have disagreed with me. That's fine. You can disagree with what I'm saying. I'm not upset with you. My point, and I guess I'm defending it here, and you don't have to like it, but is, what does it cost Paradox to make that feature? Yeah, it's just another little button you click. But if it's a significant behind the scenes of the game coding job to do, that they go, hey, we can't give this away free because this is going to take us 200 hours to make, or whatever it is, or 1,000 hours, or man hours for people to make and get it right and test it and do all this stuff, because it's not just one person. You got to code it, you got to do the AI people, you got to have the user interface people, everybody's got to put their 2 cents into adding something like this. So it may be, and I don't know what it takes, so don't, just because I happen to know some things, I don't know what it takes. So if it takes that, and they decide that that's what they got to do, well, okay, I'm not happy like everybody else in the forum, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I get that people don't like the current functionality of the battle planner. If you may happen to notice, I don't either. I'm not using it. 2 reasons I'm not using it. One is that I like to micromanage, as it's called, the battles. Partially because, as you see, my playstyle of pause and start, and which is different than a multiplayer, which you agree upon the speed and you set it and you keep it going. But partially it's my play style that I want to feel that I'm part of the decision-making process, and not just watching the war happen. I think it's Robinette's one of the people I subscribe to that has definitely made very nice, I haven't watched them all, but watched a few of them, and they're really good time-lapse, like a daily, mostly as the ones I've seen were of Hearts of Iron 3, time-lapse of the game, just like one frame each day to show how the map changes, and so it flows along pretty good. So those are sort of cool to do. So instead of just wanting to watch the war, I want to feel a participant in it. Now, a lot of people, including some of the developers of Hearts of Iron 4, said this is a high-level strategy game. This is what the guys at the top decide to do, not what your divisional general decides to do. Well, yeah, but no, but whatever. Hitler very much micromanaged the war in the East. Now, it didn't turn out very well, and of course, he was dealing with reports, and by the time he's, when one general's panicking, is it the same situation as when another general panics? Meaning are they both equally bad situations? And his information's out of date, so it doesn't necessarily work out well. Worked out very badly, actually, to micromanage it at that level. But when we're playing this, we're not commanding the individual divisions, like, oh, you do a flank attack, and you do start with an artillery bombardment, all those different little, backhand blow, all the different little battle mechanisms. We're not managing that. We're just telling the divisions where to go. At least that's what I'm doing when I'm sort of micromanaging it. So I'm sort of maybe at the core level at most lowest of deciding what is done, which direction each division is going to attack. Churchill. Remember, Churchill was both the Prime Minister of Britain and the very first Defense Minister. There was before and currently through this period a Minister of War, but he was a Defense Minister because he brought not just those offices under the Ministry of War, but all of the various military type forces under him. So he was both the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister. So the Prime Minister normally in Britain doesn't have military command of the forces. Technically, the commander of the military forces in Britain is the monarch, currently a queen. Back at this time it was a king. Obviously, by World War II, the monarch was no longer a real military commander. You go back to, William the Conqueror, of course, he was the military commander. The last member of the, you had, the Duke of York, who was in charge very much of the army during some of the Napoleonic era. Didn't work out so well with him as a member of the royal family. And the last one, I think, to command in the field, very close in the royal family, was the Duke of Cumberland, the Bloody Butcher. Cumberland, I dislike him intensely, but he commanded in the battlefield in 1746. I think was the last time one of the sons of the king was not just, hey, I'm here at the battlefield watching my generals fight. No, he commanded it in every sense of the word. So obviously the monarch by this time, and most monarchs, were no longer actively militarily commanding their armed forces. So the Prime Minister normally didn't exercise in Britain executive control over the armed forces like, say, the President does in the United States. But Churchill, when he accepted the Prime Ministership, also set up at the very same time the Ministry of Defense, so he was also the theoretical civilian commander-in-chief, if you will, of the armed forces and had control of that. And he did micromanage things. He was definitely giving orders regarding the escape out of Dunkirk, primarily ordering the, what comes to mind is ordering the commander of the Dunkirk pocket out, because the commander was, I think, maybe whether intending to be captured or intending to be one of the last men out. He basically says, well, this is no longer an army or army group commander, whatever for the British Expeditionary Forces is at best a corps commander or whatever, because it was, they were getting more and more troops out. So this other guy who was already there, he's now in charge. You're coming home. So he was giving direct military commands, orders to generals, and as well as stuff during the Mediterranean campaign and other things, because he had a very strong naval background as well as an army background. I mean, remember, he was in the army. He served in the army and served in military campaigns in the army, and then he was at Lord of the Admiralty during World War I and the early parts of World War II. So he had a very strong background in the British military, and his sort of direct high-level control normally worked out pretty well. So I don't buy the idea that we should just tell MacArthur, okay, you're a defense of America, draw some border lines around America, go, okay, I'm done. I don't like that. Now, if you want to play that style, I'm not knocking that. That is not my intention, idea, or even in my mind. People want to play different ways. It's not the way I want to play. So there's that we're looking at. Now, so the people that got upset, they felt that the battle planner itself wasn't fully ready, and so adding something that they felt that should have been there at the beginning should not be something paid for. I totally understand and totally get that viewpoint. I just, you know, it's a new button. It wasn't there originally intended. It wasn't, and I don't know, I can't say too much more, but I'll say this. It wasn't something that they had planned and then found it didn't work and so cut from it to everything that I know. It was a new thing. Hey, well, we could do this. And they're trying to think of how to make the game better as a new feature to what many people feel wasn't a fully developed feature. So, you know, I get Paradox's idea that it was going to be just one element, maybe a small, I think a small element to an expansion of the game, and that it blew up in Paradox's face. And I think it's partially public relations, partially that a lot of people don't think that this is even fixed yet, so expansions aren't something that should be paid for yet. So I get that, and so I got a lot of negative karma on that, and this is sort of, I guess, my defense of why I thought, yeah, you know, if it takes them, you know, costs them to produce it, and it's something new, and it is something new. It's not, oh, we had it and it doesn't work and now we fixed it. No, it's something new, and it's a new way of doing it. So, and it's definitely something that might make me back into the user of battle plans, because then I can draw more detailed battle plans and have the units follow them, because I've definitely found when I was doing, and you can watch some of the stuff, some of my playtests, I'd draw battle plans out and the panzers would come along here, then up to here, and they would do that. But as the front, as other overlapping fronts got there, moved up, they would start to, my strong mobile striking force would start to, what's the term I'm looking for, spread out and no longer be concentrated. So it would not work well as I wanted to do. This would keep it concentrated. And so I could do that not just for the blitzkrieg of a lightning fast unit, but I could do it for all of the units and, you know, all the cores, and have them all moving along certain paths and keep them all separate, which would be a nice feature, and it might get me back to using it. It might not, or it might just be something. Now, again, I'm not against the idea of, oh, we're going to draw a defensive line along the border and put, you know, defensive troops there. I'm not against that in play style, just because it'll start reacting to stuff before I can. So yeah, so that's sort of my sort of position and story from the big thing that happened. Okay, so with this game, yay, you've noticed I've created a few more units here, groupings, cores, I don't know what you want to call them. They didn't have Chesty Puller or any other that I could identify Marine Corps general, so put this guy in charge of the Marine Corps. Eisenhower's getting in command currently of the mobile forces, and Stilwell, which I'm going to do something ahistorical. Stilwell, he's rated as a 1 here. Oh god, that's so wrong. He is thought to be a very good tactical commander. I think he was definitely better field general than Eisenhower ever was. Eisenhower's a great military manager. There's a difference. I mean, and Eisenhower is a smart guy, and he can, when people bring him good plans, he can, yeah, that's a good plan, or no, that isn't a good plan. I mean, he's not stupid, but he, to the best of my understanding now, it may be just because of the war that he fought, meaning at the level that he fought at the war, he didn't. He was never the guy monitoring the field of action and doing inspired battle moves. It was, you know, Patton's relief of the Battle of the Bulge, which was a really spectacular move. That was Patton's move and management of it. It wasn't Eisenhower. So we're looking at that kind of stuff. Now, maybe had he been put in commands of some divisions during World War II, he would have done that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, because he wasn't. So that's why I rate Stilwell very highly. Primarily because a lot of his contemporaries before the war really rated him highly, and he did a very good job on the Burma front, but it was a very limited job because he had been sent to China, spoke Chinese, and he was sort of needed there. He was trusted there. The Americans did not trust Chiang Kai-shek. You know, he says, hey, it's noon and it's sunny. The Americans would look at their watch to confirm that and look outside to make sure that it's sunny. They did not trust Chiang Kai-shek and what he was telling them. The American High Command trusted Stilwell to give them an honest evaluation of the situation in China and on the front. So they kept him there very much over Chiang Kai-shek's objection. Chiang Kai-shek really liked and I just had the name. I got these names. Chennault. Chennault was a good friend of Chiang Kai-shek. I think Chennault, to some degree, protected Chiang Kai-shek in the sort of military, political, diplomatic situation. But Chennault was very much of an air powerist. He believed in air power as the primary way of fighting a war. Now, of course, Chennault was an Army general who was in the Army Air Corps, so he definitely specialized in air power. And you shouldn't go into something if you don't believe it's going to be useful, but I think he overplayed it, and a few times that it was, including stopping one major advance of the Chinese up the Burma Road to come into it, that stop the Japanese advance, if I didn't say that right, up the Burma Road. It was a very limited tactical situation in which they had to move along the road. There was no ability to move off the road because it was various very steep valleys and rivers and jungles and whatever else, so the air power was able to concentrate and control that space, and he did very effectively stop it with his air power, and a very limited amount of air power compared to what, you know, eventually America was able to do in the China theater as everywhere else. So yes, air power can be very effective, but it doesn't on its own, outside of very limited areas, win the war, win the battle. So we have created a unhistorical Chinese Expeditionary Corps now. We did send about this time, a little bit later, but we setting up the American Volunteer Group of basically it was, you could call it mercenaries because they were given a lot of money, especially for downed planes, but it was also a method of getting the American Army Air Corps fighting in China, gaining experience in China. And it was much more of an American operation in China than, say, something like the Eagle Squadron or other units that were made up of American volunteers flying for the RAF, because those were just basically in the RAF, just American volunteers. Okay, as opposed to these guys, basically all that were in good health once America was back in the war, ended up back in the United States Army Air Corps. It was a very different thing. Okay, well we're going to send an Expeditionary Corps off to China. So I'm going to slow the speed down here. China's, we modified some Lend-Lease off camera and started Lend-Lease to Greece and increased also to France. And hopefully they will take our expeditionary oh, we can't send volunteers. Okay, just because we just did the modifying them, at least give them some more equipment. Okay, so we're going to send volunteers. We can send up to 4 divisions, so we have our Stillwell unit. We'll get him some experience here. We're going to send Stillwell. See if we can contain this Chinese resurgent, or Japanese resurgence up here in the north, and see about what we can do down here against the south. Okay, improved artillery upgrades, cool. So we have that. Now we're getting ready to send units back into combat, or into combat. We got that going. Yeah, we could use that. And what we're going to do here is, with him, we're going to exercise the forces here. I have not exercised the National Guard units. I'm probably going to use the National Guard units, but I don't know exactly how yet. I just early on in the game, because you know, what's the point of exercising them in 1938, because I'm not planning on using them. But we're getting into the getting ready to go to war season here. Okay, so we can modify the government now. So we've got partial mobilization, so we've got that good. We're doing okay with limited conscription here, so now the question, do we wait for 250 to get Patton in, or don't know if we're going to get to the state of having so many factories that we'll want to convert over from civil to military. We might, but we're building military factories, so we're going to add him to the okay, let's expand Norfolk Naval Yard and some of the others, and here get a bit more naval production. Yeah, let's put some naval production out here in Hawaii. And internally into the U.S. here. Okay, we have 4 divisions in China now. Okay, here we are. That's them. Okay. And of course, they're very... And I've gone in before sending them over here and increase their template a bit. It's cheaper to... experience points, if you will, or whatever you want to call those. Cheaper to add these type of brigades than these, so I added artillery motorized. Which means we got a more motorized equipment there, but we haven't gotten any anti-air in here yet, but we have that. So I just did that before doing this. But we're seeing, I'm looking here, okay, towed anti-air. We're at a negative. Now, I want to highest priority. Keep supply, equipment, supplies, and everything flowing to this core at the highest priority we can, just to get those filled. But seeing as how we have a deficit there, and we have some production, I do believe, don't we? Yes, let's increase it though. Get that going, and we also have, I've increased template here, put artillery, anti-aircraft, more mobile units, engineers. Okay, now we have a better look into here. Okay. I'm going to divide my forces. That's what got Custer in trouble at the Little Bighorn, but I'm going to try it. Partially because I don't trust the AI. But if I can crush one of these forces, that would be nice. Okay, and I'm going to get them there relatively quickly. I've increased our sending of aircraft to China, and that sort of hopefully get better results for China. Now, I don't know the level of, say, air doctrine improvements for China, but I can't imagine it would be much better than ours. So it's better for you to send your own units, especially once they're in the same faction, in my opinion, if you're willing to handle them, than it is to turn everything over to the AI, or to your allies, I should say. Okay, so now, what else are we in a deficit situation? Still towed anti-aircraft, is that it? Okay, well, I want to send more and more Lend-Lease. Not enough aircraft. Okay, is that still our best? Yeah, P-40 Warhawk. Let's come down here. Do that once we get more made. My concept with this particular series, and generally playing, isn't to replicate history exactly by any means. No, I just want one division to attack. Pin this guy, get these guys in here, and attack from there. And support the attack. I know we're not well organized up yet, but I want to get moving on this. Okay, well, we've got that province. Let's do another one. Improved artillery. Well, we're going to give a lot to our allies. Okay, now we need more rubber for sure. Let's get it from Britain. Help them out. And we need more aluminum. We don't want to get it from Germany or Yugoslavia. Soviet Union if need be. But let's see if we can get some more also from Britain. Help them out. Not quite sure what that look. Well, I mean that looks like an SS uniform to me, black. What that's supposed to be for Japan, I don't know. Like here, I guess fascist troops or something. Okay, well, that's good. Better bombers, that's for sure. Okay, February 41, we need to do these. You know, I can use better long-range fighters and other things like that. Now, since we have better bombers, let's put into production at least a few more. Okay, got that province. So, see if we can... Well, that woke the... Now, see, that's the AI there. That was interesting. As soon as I attacked here, all these guys realized that they were going to be pocketed. So, this division here of Japanese fascist militia, or whatever they are, started retreating out. These guys counterattacked to keep that from happening. That was a very interesting thing happening. I hadn't specifically seen that before. And that's Steel Volt's work. And so now he's rushed. Wow, this is good. I'm going to maybe clip this little piece out and put a link up showing that that change, that the AI saw that a pocket was happening and immediately reacted to it. Moved to pin that force and moved this, so we moved from a good... That was a really neat to see. Okay, now here, so I'm a little afraid of moving into here, and are the Chinese going to come in with their Russian allies to strike at me? See if we can take this airport. Maybe we'll get some support from Chinese armor unit. Didn't know they had armor. I mean, of course, historically, the only armor they had was basically foreign given armor to them. Okay, well. There we go. Lots more military factories. And some of our shipyards are coming up here. Okay, well, I want to get that going. And we can also get more chromium. Let's get it from Britain. Now I will say a little bit critical as to why the Chinese haven't moved into this province. Or, now of course, the AI are seeing that this is happening and maybe supporting that attack. Well, I can see reasons not this, but I don't really see good reasons for all this shifting of forces around without occupying the empty province. And then either counterattacking here or supporting the attack here or something. Okay. Let's see now. Let's increase motorization. We're going to increase those. Yes, I know we're still at a... We're having a lot more factories coming up, and we'll fill up. Get carriers built, and that means we need more steel. Again, not from the German Reich. Let's get it from Britain. Okay, there we go. Seeing not just how the Japanese react to this, the Chinese. You know, why oh why? We have what I believe are those communist Chinese there, nationalist Chinese, guarding a border with Russia now. There very well may be Russian troops, like we see some here, along that border, but really? Armored divisions? When we have active wars, not potential wars. Now that's, I'm, you know, not criticizing the AI, Steel Volt or whatever, for not having a, some level of a border watch. It's just this level of a border watch. Because yes, if you're completely undefended, and okay, rubber reserve, that's good. And the enemy attacks you, you're completely taken off guard and things collapse. But having some, but having too much is also bad against an active enemy. Okay, well, we're going to embargo Japan since we've already sent. Maybe we'll get to the point that we can declare war. So these guys have gained, well, some of their organization. Back in there. So that's interesting. Now counterattack again there. See, these guys should be starting to occupy empty enemy territory here. But I must say, Steel Volt, you did a good job. Programming the AI identified an attack. and react to it. Yes, I get that the AI may not be assessing that this is going to be a good operation, but still, I'd have that these other two divisions attack, and then they probably would win there. Okay, we can build more. Now, let's see, other things that we may need. Air bases, okay, we've got a fair amount there. And some of these islands I want to make sure that we have. That could be useful, so we'll put there. Keep our supplies open. Okay, that's a good amount there. Don't need much of that, at least not right yet. We've got enough civilian factories for a considerable amount of time. There we go. Now back to China and the action going on there. Okay, join the attack. No, join the attack. So if you just move that armor division and this guy in here, we'll take that province. Push them back. And we'll push them back some more and some more. I'm hoping here if we can hold this river line here, we'll do a little better. Push them out of this province. And now that they are mostly reorganized and re-equipped, and into the attack as well. I know, I guess these are supposed to be fascist type units that are wandering around in SS black, but the SS didn't wear black when it went into battle. The Waffen SS wore gray. It's the Allgemein and the Totenkopf and all the other sort of SS type units that wore black. They did not basically fight in the war. Don't argue with me. I know more about this than you do, and I'm pretty safe in saying that, because I know a lot of you guys are well informed on World War II and know a lot of things I don't know. I know that. I really do. I've chatted with you enough, but I know a lot on the Waffen SS and such. Okay, well, and some more of the tactical bombers. Yes, I know it stands out. Oh, and you put the armband on the wrong arm. It's supposed to be on this arm. Changes sides depending on where you put. It's on the wrong arm. And okay, well that attack didn't work. Well, I'm unsupported. That's why I didn't attack here, because I was hoping they would Okay, well, let's drive up there. No. Yep, you may retake that province. We're going to try to push in from there. See if they'll support that attack. Now, what are we... Okay, we need more trucks. Now we're giving some trucks to some of our allies. We're using them up. Okay, more rubber, more steel. Only -1 on chromium, that's alright. Okay, well, attack here. Okay, well, stop attacking. I'm gonna go here so that way I can attack in either province. Okay, well, let's see if we attack there. We're attacking against one mechanized division. Okay, we've got the Wichita class cruiser. Researched, and that's good. Well, yeah, since we have those in action, we'll improve those now. Oh good, we've secured the river line. Now that we've done that, let's move one armored division. No. Here? No. I don't want you to attack there. I don't want you to attack across. No! Just the armored division. Here. No. Yep. There. I'm holding down the shift key. Make sure it goes where I want it to go, because I don't want to attack across the river. I wouldn't mind cutting off this peninsula. There we go. Mess with those Japanese Nazi types. Okay, that didn't work out. I'm just going to give up on this southern front entirely. See if we can concentrate up here. And be victorious up here. Okay. We now cross back across the river. Attacking my forces there. Okay, synthetic oil experiments. Okay, we've done our job there. Well, that should sort of be a gift by now from Germany. And we should be doing this too. Good. Yeah. Uh-oh, where's our division coming up? There it is. Front's being pushed back. Now, here. Don't you move fast? Don't you get up there? No, actually, let's move. Far side of the river. Okay, good. Well, we're going to end the episode here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Do appreciate that. And of course, post questions, comments, suggestions. What am I missing? What do I need to do? Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.